Gather around, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, animals and animalettes. Let me tell you a tale. A tale of a company once revered for its cinematic single-player masterpieces, a land of Kratos, Aloy and Joel, where every game was a perfectly sculpted monument to narrative excellence. But one day, the wise elders of PlayStation peered into the future and saw a golden goose. A goose that, instead of laying golden eggs, laid an endless stream of
digital microtransactions.
And so they declared to the world, we shall build 10 live service games. The crowd, blinded by a shimmering image of a Fortnite-esque money fountain, cheered. They had no idea what was coming. This was PlayStation telling its loyal fanbase, your love for expertly crafted 30-hour adventures is sweet, but our love for quarterly recurring revenue is even sweeter. They saw a future of not compelling stories, but of endless grinds, seasonal passes, and an economy built on selling you a new hat for a character you'll barely remember. And first up on this quest for eternal digital riches was Concord, a game that, according to PlayStation, was 8 years in the making. That's longer than it took to make most of the games that defined the PlayStation brand in the first place. You'd think with that much time, they'd have a product that would shake the industry to its core, a game so transcendent it would make Destiny look like a prototype. But instead, Concord became a cautionary tale that will be taught in business schools for decades. It's the video game equivalent of ordering an 8-course meal, waiting 8 years for it,
and then being served a slightly expired gas station hot dog.
It launched, it flopped, and it was taken offline in just 2 weeks. 2 weeks, guys. You could barely finish a single-player game in that time, let alone the lifespan of a supposedly endless live service game. Following the spectacular impulsion of Concord, PlayStation's CFO bravely admitted that the strategy was not entirely going smoothly. This is a masterclass in corporate understatement. It's like saying the Titanic's maiden voyage hit a slight bump in the road, or that Hindenburg's landing experienced a minor heat-related issue. It wasn't just not smooth, it was a catastrophic, fiery train wreck that burned down the entire live service division. But the CFO's statement was a beautiful moment of corporate humility. They acknowledged they had many issues and promised to learn the lessons from mistakes. This is the part where you pat them on the head and say,
nice try, honey. You're trying your best.
Unfortunately, the carnage wasn't limited to a single game. Oh no. The fallout from the live service push led to the cancellation of a legendary list of projects. We're talking about a multiplayer Last of Us game, a Twisted Metal title, and even a live service GOW. Let's pause for a moment on that last one. A live service Kratos. How would they even make it possible? Like, imagine it. Instead of a powerful narrative about a man and his stone dealing with their baggage, you would be grinding for new axes and paying for a Kratos battle pass. It would say,
buy the dad bod skin for only $9.99. Loot boxes now contain a 0.01% chance of dropping a legendary tier boy emote.
It was a concept so ridiculous, it's hilarious, and thankfully it was put out of its misery before it could inflict any damage. In the midst of all this failure, a shining light emerged, Helldivers 2. A cooperative shooter that nobody saw coming. It wasn't a mega budget, cinematic marvel, it was a chaotic, funny, and genuinely fun game that became a massive success. The delicious irony here is that Helldivers 2 succeeded precisely because it was the opposite of what PlayStation was trying to force. It had a modest budget, a clear vision, and a developer that understood what made a game fun, not just what made a game a service. And I bet you that PlayStation's executives are probably still scratching their heads, wondering why the one game that wasn't a soulless corporate Frankenstein's monster was the one that actually worked. Now, part of PlayStation's live service master plan involved the acquisition of Bungie, the creators of Destiny. The idea was simple: buy the best in the business and let them show everyone how it's done. But a funny and ironic thing happened. The creators of a successful live service game seemed to struggle with making a new one. Marathon, their next big project, was delayed. And now, according to the latest reports, PlayStation is gaining a much tighter grip on Bungie, which translated from corporate jargon means we spent over $3 billion and now we're going to force them to do what we want. It's honestly a tale as old as time. A big company buys a creative studio and then wonders why the creativity disappears. It's because you are involving the suits. The answer has always been in front of you. Don't involve the freaking suits! Now entering Herman Hulst, the new head of PlayStation Studios. He is the man who has to clean this beautiful mess up. And he has a new, slightly more realistic slogan.
I don't want teams to always play it safe, but I would like for us, when we fail, to fail early and cheaply.
Honestly, Mr. Herman, you cannot be more direct as to referencing to Concord. It's a corporate mea culpa wrapped in a motivational poster. The new strategy is to aim for the stars, but with a safety net made of cheap polyester. On the other hand, the CFO also shared some fascinating numbers. Apparently, live service games accounted for up to 40% of their first-party software revenue in one quarter. This is of course a statistic that seems impressive on its face, but the subtext is what's truly hilarious. That 40% is from the handful of successful titles like Helldivers 2 and Destiny 2. Well, let's be realistic, Helldivers 2, Destiny 2 is on its way to meeting its maker. So, while a few games are pulling their weight, a whole lot of expensive, ill-conceived projects are doing nothing but collecting dust on the digital shelf. What PlayStation is basically saying, our live service business is great. We're just not going to mention the piles of money we lit on fire to get here. PlayStation is also shifting its focus to IP creation and cross-media franchises. This means they're no longer just making games, they're making brands that can be turned into movies, TV shows, and anime. They want every game to be the next Last of Us on HBO. The absurdity and stupidity of this is that the single-player games that they're trying to move away from are the ones that are actually successful in this space. Basically, what they're saying is this.
We want to make more money from movies based on our games, so let's stop making games that people actually want to watch movies about and start making games designed for spreadsheets.
It's a perfectly backwards, perfectly corporate strategy that you can't help but laugh at. Let's go back to Concord a little bit. The core issue with its failure is a fundamental understanding of the gaming industry. The game was in development for 8 years, chasing a trend that had already peaked. It's like spending a decade building a massive DVD rental store and then opening it in the age of Netflix. PlayStation's leadership saw the success of games like Overwatch and Valorant and thought, we can do that too, without realizing that the market for hero shooters was already saturated and dominated by free-to-play giants. It's a lesson in futility, a testament to the fact that you can't force a square peg into a round hole, especially when that peg is a full-priced hero shooter in a world of free ones. This right here, guys, this is one of the funniest parts I find, is PlayStation saying that the number of live service games is not so important. This is just another gem of corporate speak. It's a complete 180 degrees from the original 10 live service games by 2026 plan. It's the equivalent of a chef saying, I am not going to try to make 10 mediocre dishes, I am going to make one really good one. This is of course the right move, but it's also a clear admission that the original plan was a ridiculous, unsustainable disaster. They're backing away from the cliff they were so eagerly running towards, and they're doing so with a straight face and a newfound appreciation for making good games, not just live games. Now, in the midst of all this chaos, what's been getting all the attention at PlayStation events? The single-player blockbusters. Yes, PlayStation, go back to the original formula. Games like Ghost of Yoti and Naughty Dog's new sci-fi game Intergalactic: The Heretic Prophet. This is just stupid and a waste of time and money. It's a hilarious back and forth. PlayStation says we're all about live service and then shows off their single player games to great fanfare. Guys, why not just stick to the formula? It's an unspoken apology, a silent acknowledgement that their most dedicated fans still crave the cinematic adventure that made the brand what it is today. Don't follow the freaking trends. You guys are so good at single player games. This entire freaking situation is a battle between an unstoppable force, the desire for endless live service money, and an immovable object, PlayStation's traditional audience who just want good old single player games. I am begging you, PlayStation. The company tried to force the unstoppable force through the immovable object, and the result was predictable and hilarious. It's like Lee Sin kicking Malphite mid-ult. You're still going to get knocked up, Lee Sin. The lesson here is that you can't simply pivot a brand built on a legacy of excellence and expect everyone to follow. The audience for PlayStation is not the audience for Fortnite. These are two completely different beasts, and trying to cater to both at the same time is proving to be a lot harder than it looks. So, where does PlayStation go from here? I mean, they've learned their lessons, they've cancelled their projects, and they've publicly admitted to their mistakes. But the desire for live service money is still there. They're still trying to make it happen, just in a more measured way. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I think the future of PlayStation is now a tightrope walk. They will have to balance between their legacy of single-player greatness with their new pragmatic pursuit of live service revenue. Of course, I still think we'll see more blockbusters, and we'll probably see a few more small, cheap failures too. It's a new era for PlayStation, one that is less about bold pronouncements and more about quietly picking up the pieces from a spectacular and hilariously expensive misstep. What do you guys think? Should PlayStation continue pursuing the course of trying to make a live service game or stick to the good old single player phenomenons? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and as always, thank you so much for watching, and if you enjoyed the video, please consider dropping a like and subscribing for more videos in the future. Take care, and I'll see you in the next one.